Let me join the tournament. I think I'll probably play Sicilian Dragon first game. Usually the top two face each other in these arena tournaments. Oh, okay, I'll probably play Zwenna from Germany. Who is this? Doesn't show their name here. Decently high rating. There's a request for the O'Sullivan. I actually haven't played that in a while. But probably won't play it against like a super strong player. But maybe against a lower player. Depending. Welcome back to John Bonpony. Asking for Ponziani. Request for Danish. Already 3 opening requests. So the goal is just to play instructive chess. I'll probably end up playing the whole tournament. So 2.5 hours of 10-minute rapid chess. And first game. Here we go, playing Zwenna. There's sound. Why is there no sound? Huh. Do people hear move sounds? I don't have the tab muted. There's no sound. I actually don't know how to troubleshoot this. Can I refresh? Refresh. Still no sound. Mute tab, unmute tab. I don't know why there's no sound. Did the browser block it? I don't think so. There was sound earlier. Could the whole browser be muted? I didn't even know that's possible. I'm using Safari. I was having issues earlier with a different bug. That's really strange. It's taking some time. It's still an opening theory here. Let me just open a different tab. Let's see if okay, that was working. I just opened YouTube. So I don't know why the sound's not working. Could be Lichess settings, sound. It's set to standard and not silent. I have no idea. Anyway, so far this this game is not super eventful, so we're just completing the opening phase. Rook usually stands nicely on c8. Sometimes there's c5 ideas, sometimes I want to make sure the pawn's defended. Yeah, I don't see any mute icon. I might like restart the browser after this game. Opponent wants to win this pawn. I could play b5. b5, a4, b4. I could also just go back. It's kind of not what I want to do, but repeat. Let's see what white wants to do. Yeah, white's offering some repetition. I mean, knight e4 is like one of the main kind of ways to deviate here. Take. I think it's okay. Could also play this. Just don't want to allow knight e5. Hey, it's Arthur Night Songs. Arthur's Night Songs. How's it going? Appreciate the raid. If you're just joining, we've already had the same position Well, this is our second occurrence of the same position. Rook c8, queen e2 was played. I moved back and white moved back. Now I'm considering knight e4. Takes, knight e5. I think it's okay, actually. Let's go for knight e4. Yeah, I think Nixons was doing commentary for, was it Abu Dhabi? Some big tournament? Yeah, also if you're just joining, I'm having some issues with getting sound to play on my browser, at least from Lichess. And yeah, maybe chat can help me troubleshoot at some point. Knight takes f2, king takes f2, queen e3. I don't think leads to anything. I mean, f5 does look appealing here. Let's go for f5. Trying to be aggressive.
Hello, Eric.
Hello.
I would love to see a Vienna opening if you would be happy to play it. Smile.
Yeah, when I started the stream, we got like 3 opening requests immediately. But Vienna I can keep in mind. Usually best to remind me between games. I think TTS worked there. Hopefully people could hear TTS. So yeah, it looks like it's a browser issue or a Lichess issue. Yeah, white goes for 95. So this is why I wanted my rook on c8. Is lines with like takes and takes and takes and takes and takes. Bishop would come off the board and c7 would be hanging in the end. So I could put my rook back. Maybe is the way to go. And c5 is still an idea. Yeah, it's somewhat of a cat and mouse game so far. Like white has definitely achieved something positional. But now I am threatening to take and win a pawn. I over-defended my c7 pawn. And this is like somewhat symmetrical too, with like we both have a knight in each other's territory on the central square. We both have this feeding kettle queenside bishop supporting the knight. But there's a few differences. Like I have more pressure against white's knight, but I've also committed to f5, so the pawn can never attack the knight. White could maybe someday play f3, but probably not right now because I take and then take and then take and win a pawn. So we might see f4. And then it's like one big clump of things in the center. And if f4, I'm thinking c5. Hello to Razvan Rab. Yeah, so if you're just joining, I streamed earlier. I streamed like super aggressive Super Blitz. Now I'm back for slower, instructive rapid chess. Knight c6, honestly, I forgot about. It's probably okay, like just queen e6. And just let the knight be. f3 still probably doesn't work because I take and then e3 is hanging. Thank you to Chris the Coyote. Happy 22. Let me check my sound settings. Sound. I have the input and output. Yeah, usually when I play these rapid games, I'm the one who's down on time because I like to take time to explain things and everything. But my opponent's taking a lot of time here. Maybe he's just not sure what to do. B4. That's a strange position. There's a crazy idea. If I take and then take, and then take, I don't think it works. It's worth considering. Take. That probably doesn't work. I think the normal move is knight f6, although that would probably allow knight e5. Take on e3, king f1. I don't have much time. I feel like this is critical. Takes king f1, knight f6. I have the idea of this. I guess there's rook c2 or queen c2. But when I play knight g4, I'm threatening this mate. King is stuck. h3 is not possible. The rook's tied down to the bishop. I guess there's bishop e2 there. But bishop e2, I take, and then knight e4. Queen d5, king h8. This is lying with bishop e2. I'm still threatening mate. I'm going to go for it. I might be overlooking something, but it does look really interesting. Like sometimes this is hard to calculate because knight f6 is not inherently a forcing move. It's really just setting up the threat. So white has a lot of maybe tries in this position. But the reason why I'm going for this is because it seems like white's really stuck. And it's like really hard to prevent this move. Again, h3, I take the knight. This rook move, I take the bishop with check. I mean, white could bring something back to try and defend f2, but then h2 is still a target. I guess the one thing I didn't quite consider is, let's say rook c2, knight g4, queen d5. But in these lines, my king just finds safety here. And if I can attack h2, it's pretty much impossible for white to defend. So I really don't know what to expect from white in this position. Maybe some counter sack. I don't think this really helps that much. I should note there's no increment, just 10-0. I think my opponent has to take time here to figure out how to try and survive, if there is a way. I'm looking too for white. I'm not seeing anything like super clear. Maybe this? This is what I was calculating earlier. Bishop e2, I take. Threatening mate, takes. And then knight e4. Allowing takes, king h8. And yeah, I think in that position, the only way to stop mate is to sack the queen. And it's just winning for black. So this is the first game of the tournament. Okay, let's go for, I mean, knight g4, queen d5, king h8. Ah, there's rook e2. No, but rook e2 is, it delays a mate. I don't see what white's going to do. Rook e2, I still take on h2 and then win the knight. Just a thought that it would be really nice for my knight to come to e3 to fork all the major pieces. But knight h2 is a simple mate in one threat. And is it force mate? How does white not get mated? Because rook e2, I take and then take and it's mate. So, okay. I'll do some quick analysis and then I'll troubleshoot the sound. And then maybe chat can help out. But yeah, I think that was a pretty clean game. Oh wow, so it's already like forced mate after rook c2. According to the engine, yeah, it's just winning for black. Best move would have been bishop takes f5, which, yeah, allows me to win back the piece, and I still have the attack. Oh, thank you for the compliment, the Black Goose. I guess it's true that white prevented getting mated by resigning. Opening, yeah, I guess the opening was normal. I mean, I turned down the repetition, which turned out to be a good thing. Knight c6. Yeah, it's weird. Knight c6 like was not on my radar, but it's not that amazing for white. And then, yeah, it just went downhill really quickly for my opponent. So I think what I'll do is, wait a minute. The move sounds are back. What did I do? Can people hear that? It just affects things while playing. I mean, they're probably quiet, but I don't know what happened. Yeah, they're back. Okay. Hopefully they stay functional. Back to tournament. Good start. Raising my rating. It's been a while since I played rapid chess on Lichess. Or anywhere. Usually when I play these tournaments, I don't play the full tournament. But today will likely be different. Hey, it's EDR Siri.
Good
Tier
to see
2.
you.
Happy 3 years. Okay. So, I'll try and remember what some of the opening requests were. I can't recall anyone requesting anything specific against Sicilian. So I'll just play kind of in a normal fashion. I could play Rossolimo, could play delayed Alapin. The move I've actually been liking here is Knight c3, which it's kind of a tricky move order thing. I keep the option open of playing d4, but I also keep the option open of playing bishop b5, which I'll go for here. So black's playing quickly. Pawn d5. Don't mind taking. Yeah, going forward here, I mean, I've developed the whole king side. Black's still playing very quickly. a6 makes some sense. So it takes. Black gets a bishop pair. I'm considering starting with rook e1. Bishop e7. Yeah, let's start with rook e1. And in a position like this, especially because black hasn't castled and still a couple moves away from castling, if I can seize initiative, then like, good things might happen. And what I mean by that is I just want to keep making threats. d4 was threatening to win the pawn. I take back with knight. I'm threatening to win this pawn. And it's already looking really good now. Bishop's pinned. If knight f6, I can take it.
Hey, happy to see
Hello.
you, Eric, back. Are you planning in the future to participate in any IRL shorter time control events?
I did recently. There were shorter time control events in Biel and in Norway, the two events that I played. They were blitz side events. Biel had rapid and 960 as well. I'll probably do some like blitz or rapid OTB events before I do my next classical event. Queen h5 looks nice. This might set up ideas of knight e6. But I'm also just trying to get the other rook in, mainly to double up on the e-file. c5 attacks the knight, but it leaves this pawn undefended, and I can take this. If black takes the knight, I have mate in 2 with takes king f8 and queen h6 mate. Okay, now knight e6. Yeah, it's just all crumbling for black. Pawn is pinned. And there's still, like, yeah, massive issues with the king. Do I have mate? I mean, this is a move. Yeah, just win more material. Attacking the king, the rook, and winning the bishop. I might as well take the pawn. These are superfluous knights. They defend each other. Also help create the mating net around the king. Yeah, it's going to be made in maybe next move even. King b7, queen b6. Okay, that was a feel-good game. Also goes to show like how misplaying the opening can just downward spiral. Like black was just a little bit slow to develop. d5 might already be a slight mistake because it opens the center when white has a lead in development. So generally in this position, I think the better moves are either knight g7 or knight d4 is a higher level move. I sometimes play this as black. I would play knight d4. There's actually a trap here. If you're playing this as black and white stumbles into this move, which has been played nearly 1,300 times, then after takes knight e2, black is much, much better after queen g5, hitting this and this. So hopefully a nice opening lesson. Okay, nice to have the sound back. Nice to have a good start. Hopefully instructive start to the tournament. Giuoco is asking if your opponent plays fast, does that affect you at all? Definitely gives me less time to think on the opponent's time, but yeah, generally you should just kind of take
Nice
each position
tactics,
as is.
Eric. Was there any update on your course about what to play against d4?
Not yet. I had to put it on the back burner with like all the travels and everything else in life. I still have all the files. It's just a matter of like figuring out the best way to release it. So it's a goal for me before the end of the year. Thank you, Tuzajin. Hey, it's Trevlar, who missed an egg from the previous stream. I did play the egg. I don't think I acknowledged that I played the egg when I played the egg, but there was an egg a few hours ago. Oh no, not this bug. Okay, I'm playing the French. Man, I was looking at chat and I wasn't like looking at the board, and then I have this this bug, like I can't move the pieces because Safari is weird. So I have to make a new window, go to Lichess, join the game, bring in this tab. And now it should work. Okay. And now we have a Taimanov, start of a Taimanov Sicilian. Okay. That's dangerous. It's I opened a window in Chrome to make my first move there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like figure out a solution to this issue. Probably just a matter of switching to Firefox or something. Okay, so I'm playing a Taimanov Sicilian, which is one of my favorite black openings. Bishop e5 is definitely not the most common move. It's a move I kind of want to punish, but the best way to punish it might just be to follow opening principles, like develop, attacking the pawn. But usually when black plays d6, then there's more justification for the bishop to come here. But yeah, with the pawn still on d7, a6 will gain tempo. I'm actually wondering here if I can take on e4. I don't think it works. Probably not worth calculating. And bishop d5 looks kind of interesting. There's also a line like takes and queen a5. Provokes knight c3. Mm-hmm. And there's also a6 too, and question the bishop. I'm looking at bishop c5, bishop e3, and queen b6. Maybe appears to be the most active. And this is developing with tempo. I can go back and answer questions. There's a question, could you have taken the knight and then checked and win the bishop? Yeah, queen a5 check is usually met with knight c3 to defend. So it's sometimes an idea, but yeah, wouldn't win material there. I think now queen b6 still. Because I apply pressure this way, but also this way. And I get the bishop pair. I also get a pawn closer to the center. Yeah, white's forcing matters. So, I mean, taking would trade. Like, queen would take, we could trade queens, but then white has the center. I think I'm better off just playing bishop e7. And there's a few plans here. In d5 is a big plan. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to move back the queen. Yeah, d5 is probably the main plan. The other idea is to put the bishop here and try and slow down white from castling. Thank you to Accident from Florida. Happy 46. Yeah, white's trying to use the square. So I'm mainly debating here between d5 or castling. I don't think I want to play this, which gets hit with knight c5. And d5 actually looks nice. There's two attackers. If takes, the c file opens. There was a question earlier about knight b5 in the opening, which, if I remember, I'll try and answer after the game. Okay, so white's moved this knight a bunch of times, but it's found a decent square, restricting this bishop. Castling, again, is probably the normal approach. But there's a move here, which I think I'm going to start with, bishop d6. And there's a couple of points to this move. Mainly, okay, directed at h2, so I'm probably threatening to take on h2, but I'm also preventing white from castling. So it's a little bit awkward for white to deal with. We might see g3. G3 is a bit weakening, especially with the light squares and white not having a light square bishop. There's a question earlier, did you play the Stafford this tournament? Well, the tournament kind of just started. I've only played one game so far? Wait a minute. First game. Oh no, I played 2 games so far. Lost track. Had the first game against IM and then the nice quick win in the Sicilian. It was my 3rd game. I don't think it's worth it to take. My queen is just kind of alone there. I think eventually I want to play e5. But I'll just start with castling. And castling and e5 are probably interchangeable. When will you be cooking again? Hopefully this game I'll cook up some nice attack. e5 looks really nice. And just taking over the center. d5 is defended. e4 is the move I would like to achieve. I have the bishop pair. Bishops like open positions. White is controlling e4 a bunch of times. I mean, a5 is a consideration. I think a5 is a type of move just to play quickly. Put the question to white. There's not a huge threat, but it would be nice to take and then have the half open a file for the rook. And now there's more potential to play bishop a6 with the rook helping support a6. Like, for example, if white castles, I might be able to take and then take and then take and then take and then bishop a6. And be a line to calculate. White keeps the tension. So now e4. E4 looks appealing. Yeah, let's just do it. At first it looks like a pawn sacrifice, because white has more attackers than I have defenders. But if takes, I have a choice between queen c3, or probably even stronger, bishop b7. Skewer the queen and rook. And white's walking into this. Yeah, queen c3 wins the pawn. This wins more than a pawn. Oh, thank you for the positive healing vibrations, whatever that means. From Meltology Professor. Okay, opponent wants to checkmate me. Let's take a rook. As long as I don't mouse slip, should be in good shape. Oh, that defends and attacks. Just play bishop e5. If I hover over my opponent's name, I see their ongoing game, which is this game, but I can see it from their perspective, which maybe helps with empathy. Okay, let's take. Save the bishop. I could play a4 actually. Why not? If it takes, we can trade knight for bishop. Rook d8 on tap. Now I have a dream of getting my queen to g2. Or maybe just a rook to g2. Okay, so the knight is pinned. Right, knight f6 is almost a pork. A pin plus fork, but yeah, the knight can't move. And yeah, that's game over. Okay, I think, yeah, pretty smooth game. My opponent played this like slightly offbeat opening. Yeah, generally knight c3 is a more common approach. There was a question about knight b5, which is also a very playable move. The idea is to try and threaten this, after which I play pawn d6. And then this can lead to a hedgehog setup. I think usually white plays c4, I play a6, and then this, and then this. There's a different line, bishop f4. Attacking the pawn a third time. And then I would have to play e5. But this is also like very fine for black, bishop e6 and a6 coming. So hopefully that addresses the question. Question about f5. Oh, in the end. Yeah, f5 was probably stronger. I guess f5... Yeah, f5 maybe should have been played. Oh, but black has mate in 3. Ah, is this mate in 3? Queen f2. I missed queen f2. I was more focused on attacking the knight. Queen f2 is really aesthetic, because I'm walking into a fork, basically taunting the knight that it can't take either my queen or my rook, and these moves are unstoppable. Are you still using a heart rate monitor? Now I am. It should appear momentarily. Okay, I hope I answered the questions. Let's move on. 33rd place. Playing Calf Bogor. I don't think I've played any like openings that have been requested so far. There was a request for Vienna and Ponziani earlier. We have a French defense. I'll play a 2 knights. Unless my opponent plays that, which maybe could still go into French territory if we see d5. Oh, my opponent's playing the cow. Ta! My opponent's playing the cow. I think the best approach against the cow is to play this move, h4, and just like torment them. Yeah, this is the meat grinder approach. My winning material like takes queen g4. This looks really good. Because there's no bishop g5. If bishop f6 defending the pawn, I play e5. Oh, a calf is like a baby cow. And Bogor is... I think it's a town in Indonesia. But it's also maybe like a bog or something else. Whatever that means. Yeah, this is really good because I win the bishop or the g pawn in this case. I guess we're gonna see queen f6. Queen f6 maybe would provoke king e3. And black's setting up a trap here. If I play bishop h6, then queen f6 forks everything. So h6. I really want to punish this move. f5 might be coming. Yeah, probably just h6 to start. Bishop e5. I think I'm going to have to be patient and just like gradually develop. I do like the prospect of bishop g5 though. It's f6, bishop h4, and then the pawn's pinned, and f5 can't be played easily. g5, this pawn's pinned. Yeah, it's true that black maybe should have like given me the pawn rather than the bishop. Okay, black wants to play this. I play this, e5. There's also this move. I think I'd rather prioritize development. We're going to see c6, b6, a6. Okay, we see d5. Yeah, the thought is that I give takes and the diagonal opens and win back some pawns. Queen e8. This does give me the choice to take and then take again with check. And then save the queen. Black wanted to play f5 to try and open the f file. But with no pawn here, the f file is not going to open. There's a question, couldn't you win the rock? Could you win the rock? I assume you mean the rook with bishop h6. Oh, yeah, I did address that. I can just show one more time. In this position, if I played this, there's queen f6, attacking the king and the bishop. I could save the bishop, but then I lose a pawn. So, holding on to things, winning the d5 pawn. It's close to mate. Okay, the queen's attacked. I'll play this. I'm threatening mate in 2. Threatening to sack my queen and then mate, I think is more aesthetic than bishop takes f6 first. Opponent does not allow me to mate. So, I'm looking for tricks here, like sack, but yeah, let's just save the bishop. Probably save the other bishop. I could maybe start with this move. Then queen d8. Yeah, it still takes work to construct a mate. I'm just completing development. I think I want my rook supporting the pawn, and then I'll bring the other rook in to open file. Maybe the knight can come into d6. A nice weak square in black's position. There's an idea to play rook e7 to g7. Yeah, it's nice having the rook just always defending the pawn. Black can't really like complete development that easily. Bishop f5, I play this, and then queen's driven away from defending the bishop. We might see g4 here, but then I just move the queen. Question about bishop g6. At what moment, though? Or was that the same question about earlier with bishop h6? In this position, the rook is doing the damage. Rook g7 almost traps a queen. I guess there's queen f5 or queen e8. Now, yeah, I really just want to mate efficiently. I think actually queen d3, threatening mate in 1. And if f5, I play this move. Bishop d6. Yeah, bishop d6 was maybe an idea. Honestly, not a move I considered earlier. Now it looks like the bishop's coming to probably a more deadly square if black plays f5. It might actually be worth taking the knight first, just so there's no knight f6. f4, I checkmate. Why did I not consider bishop d6? At what moment, though? Here? I think I was just set on going in with a rook. There's some positions where, especially when you're head in material, if you see like one good looking idea, then it's not worth time, or not worth spending too much time looking for other options, especially in rapid chess. But most of my moves have been like oriented around trying to destroy the king rather than winning more material. Now I have a windmill. I mean, it's made in two. I'll go ahead and mate in two. Rook g6 is, I guess, slightly more aesthetic. Unleashing the bishop. This is the only legal move. And then I'll take. I was not in time to pre-move bishop takes f6. But another feel-good game. Yeah, for those that maybe don't know what a windmill is.
Good evening.
There's positions in chess where you can take advantage of this sort of setup and then win a lot of material by taking and then moving back. And then basically every rook move is a check. So I could have maybe done this and then checkmate, but I tried to be efficient. So yeah, hopefully this is a nice demonstration of how to punish the cow. Probably black should have played h5. It's actually funny that the engine says 97 is the best move. Like undo the cow. Kind of goes to show how wrong the cow opening is. Sorry, Anna Crowling. But yeah, for anyone that plays someone who plays a cow, like just pushing the pawn can lead to good things. Just to harass a knight. And yeah, there was a question also about bishop somewhere. Bishop e7 was best, and it's pretty ugly for black. I guess there is bishop f6 here. It's not completely over. I did have a good experience playing the cow though. Like the one time I played it in Title Tuesday, there was one Title Tuesday I played it every game. I think I scored 6.5 with it. Just like a par score for me. Honestly, the Stafford objectively is probably worse than the cow, but it's way more venomous. Okay, opponent's berserking. I'll berserk back. Please play the cow. Should I play the cow? Okay, I'll play the cow. Just because you said please. Is my opponent gonna learn from what I just did? I don't think h5 works though, if I take it. It only works in specific cases. Why am I playing the cow? This is supposed to be instructive chess. I mean, one interesting thing about the cow is I think it goes to show that opening like doesn't matter that much in a chess game. Most games are just determined much later on by non-opening moments. And nice thing is you can kind of blitz out the first 8 moves and just play the cow and then think later. So one nice thing about having the knight here rather than here is that f pawn can move. I'm not sure if I actually want to play f4 though. e4 makes way more sense to start with, and then yeah, probably later f4. And there is attacking potential. This is finally resembling like some more normal opening. The knight is really well placed on g3. F5 square is just a great spot for the knight. Yeah, there's another idea, like if you're playing against the cow, to just fianchetto. The pawn on g6 restricts the knight very nicely. But now the knight is unrestricted. I'm looking for tactics here. Black does have everything defended. So I think the best approach is just to keep applying more pressure. Queen g3. d4 is an idea, but also checkmating is an idea. And yeah, now black's position should crumble. King g7, I can move back. There's a funny line. I'll start with taking. And I could take and then fork. I could also fork right away. Oh, actually, if I take first, this doesn't work because takes, when I win back the queen, there's bishop c5, I lose my knight. So, I mean, rook takes f7. Probably just better. It's like so close to mating. Creating the pin. We'll bring the other rook in. Unless, do I have anything better? Let's bring the other rook in. Okay, now maybe I'll take with knight. Win the pawn. I don't have to trade queens, but it does simplify. Rook f7 is now a threat. Okay, black is trying to set up this tactic, which I almost overlooked earlier. I mean, if rook f7, king g8, I'll start with this move. Just opening the line for the bishop. That's a good move. Yeah, I might actually lose a pawn after bishop d6. Have to be a little bit careful. Move back and then push and then take. Maybe even take here first. 96 idea. .93. Okay, well now I can check and then win the pawn. Bishop c5, I defend. Might see rook d8. 95. Play bishop b5. Restricting the knight this way, so there's no knight c6. I'm trying to hold on to the pawn. Now bishop c4. Have the bishop on d5, or get this position. Okay. Undoubling my pawns. I'm down a minute. I have 4 extra pawns. So when life gives you pawns, you usually push them. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pawn pushing. Am I mating? It's actually really close to mate after king g4. I'm going for the mating attack. h3 is not mate, but now it is. Okay. Okay. This is the best way to push a pawn. So that's my cow opening for today. Back-to-back games. First winning against a cow and then winning with a cow. Yeah, even as early as like move 3 for black. Black could just play G6, bishop G7. And then later like support H5, H4, F5, F4. Perhaps a better approach. So 12th place. I'm not really trying to win the tournament, but maybe I'll be on the running. I started when the tournament started, so I didn't late join. Trying to stay clean. Hello to Wololo from YouTube. Welcome to Twitch. Request for Stafford Gambit. I usually like to play the Stafford in faster time controls. Especially after having just played the cow. I feel like I should play a more proper opening next game. So, playing this person. Request for QGD. Ah. Oh, Jackster. Jackster probably is also a fan of this QGD sideline, which I played recently. E4. Let's play E5, but let's not play a Stafford. Let's play like a normal King's Pawn, which I used to do a lot when I was younger. A normal Italian. Oh, there was a request for a dragon. Maybe a few different types of dragon. And this is the opening I played as black for the first like several years of my chess career. It starts normal, but there's ways to like make things exciting in the middle game. White goes for castling, which sometimes can indicate that white might be trying to gambit. Although rook e1, it's a weird move order. I'm already wondering if this is possible. D4 and then take? Oh, there's some crazy lines. Bishop takes f7. Knight g5. And d6 is probably the proper move. I'm going to play d6. Yeah, we see h3. Now with h3, this actually can give me a chance to be a bit more aggressive in the middle game. I'm going to start with a6. More of just a waiting move. Usually a useful move to give the bishop room. And there is an idea of like thrusting the g-pawn. G5, G4. Sometimes I like to do in Blitz and Bullet. I don't think I'll be playing a Jerome Gambit today. Something I'll save for more dubious stream. Yeah, Bishop A7. This looks weird to just like retreat before white plays D4. But the point is that if white does play D4, it doesn't come with tempo. And I can just play something like Queen E7 or Castle, and yeah, the bishop stands comfortably here. I will check after the game if Knight G4 was a strong option. White goes for G4, or white goes for D4. So now it probably doesn't make sense to expand on the king side. I'm probably be better off either castling. I'm probably just castling here. I have to worry about bishop G5. Could play Queen E7. I'm going to play Queen E7. The reason for this move is I didn't want white to take, trade queens, and take away my castling rights. So now if takes, I can be fine. I didn't want to castle because bishop G5 was kind of annoying. But now if white goes for bishop g5, because I haven't committed to castling, I can play h6, bishop h4, g5, I think. In this case, I think it's justified. And then eventually g4. And yeah, we might see this play out. I do have to at least consider takes with queen f3 ideas. Should be fine. I have rook g8, rook g6 at the very least. So we're no longer in like the boring symmetrical Italian. It's getting really spicy. And this is one benefit to not having castled. The king can actually be safe in the center. And white's king can be a target on the king side. Especially now with the bishop always having X-ray vision. White can no longer put the bishop on e3, which usually white likes to do in the Italian. So it seems like white's considering this. But I think it just backfires. Like rook g8 comes with tempo. And white only gets 2 pawns, and d4 is not defended in the end. Ah, white goes for it. I'll just play this quickly. I mean, there is h4. So I guess I have to be a little bit careful. But taking just looks pretty straightforward. Let's calculate. Takes, queen f3, 95. If queen takes, we trade, I win c4. I guess queen f4. And then, I think at the very least, knight h5. Even taking. Do I have to worry about e5? I don't think so. Although, e5... e5, I guess I take with pawn. Or knight. Yeah, let's just take. There is some risk to having the center open with my king and queen aligned with white's rook. But I'm up material. If white gives me more material, I probably just take it. I've forgotten how slick the piece animations look on slower time controls. Do I have the animations turned on? I guess I do. I guess I haven't really noticed. Maybe I should turn them off for when I play like Blitz or Bullet. Well, now I can take with bishop. And this is just such a good piece. The wooden shield. Defends the knight. Pressures f2 and the king. Supported by my knight. Yeah, I think I used to have animations turned off. But then at some point I turned them on when like editing over the board videos with a diagram. It's like a slightly better viewer experience for them to be on. Okay, what to do here? I'm actually tempted to sack the rook and then knight g4. It looks worth it. It might get a little bit murky, but there's so much initiative here. And this position is giving me Stafford Gambit vibes. With the bishop and knight targeting f2. And there's the idea of bringing the queen in via this diagonal, which you see a lot in the Stafford Gambit. And even though I gave some material, I'm not really down material, and I have 2 minors for rook and pawn. And the minor pieces are just so much more valuable in such a middle game. Yeah, this is like almost force mate. I think the only move to not get mated is this, maybe this. G3 looks playable, but then I take and there's a pin. against the f-pawn. Of course, f-pawn can't move. So hopefully this serves as a nice example of how to play aggressively against Italian. I didn't play a Stafford gambit, but the final position looks Stafford-ish. Yeah, sometimes even when I don't play the Stafford, it's hard to avoid putting my pieces on such squares. Yeah, this would prolong the game. Takes. But black would still have an attack. The rook would come into h8. That move I didn't quite see coming. And probably just king d8 or king e7 or even just taking. Takes, check, move over. Oh, there's queen h3 actually. So I'm probably better off just playing king f8. It looks weird, but I just don't want to give white any checks. I'm realizing that this is probably the best try. I don't immediately see like a forced mate or anything. Even a crystal clear win. I'm sure there's something. Like this gives me the option to take on f2 or play queen h2. Okay, white takes the knight. We'll probably see g6. And now, yeah, the king is actually very safe here. The rook's ready to come in. There's a question from Tuzajin. Given how often you see the positions when people decline the Stafford or don't take on e5, is there a reason you don't play the Petrov defense more often in slower chess? Yeah, I have a different repertoire for like more serious, slow tournaments, especially over the board. And with the Petrov specifically, there's just a lot of lines that white can play safely, and it's hard to create like dynamic positions to play for a win. So I lean more towards Sicilian openings like Taimanov and Accelerated Dragon, where at least there's more imbalance, more interesting lines, more room for exploration. But it is true, like maybe I could adopt a Petrov repertoire. Like if I seriously wanted to strive for the Grandmaster title, that might be a decent idea. Yeah, just double checking, making sure the pawn is pinned. Okay, yeah, hopefully another instructive game. This queen e7 move I was happy with, to stay flexible and just see what white does. Because if white plays maybe like knight d2, then I'd be less inclined to expand and probably just castle and play more positionally. So, top 10. Still over an hour left, playing Universal City. Waiting for your Queen's Gambit. Okay, I'll play d4. If d5, I'll play a Queen's Gambit. If knight f6, maybe I'll play a London. Yeah, you can't play the Queen's Gambit against knight f6. I guess it could transpose, but let's play a London. I could maybe play Jobava. Although with e6, yeah, knight c3 I think is already like met with bishop b4. So yeah, this is more traditional London. Knight f3. Knight e5. Way back when, I used to play bishop g3 instead of knight e5. But I like this move, it's more aggressive. Knight d7 is already a little bit strange. usually indicates that black's going to fianchetto, but at b6 right away, I play knight c6 and trap the queen. And black can't take because I fork. Black plays this. I think I win a pawn here. Take, take. And this is a very classic tactic. There is queen b6 in the end, but then I take. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. Another drawback of knight d7 is it leaves the bishop undefended. And with c5, the bishop is not defended by anything. Oh, maybe this isn't so simple, though. The queen b6 is coming next move. Wow, is this opening prep? There's no way. I probably do lose back the pawn. Takes. Queen b6, bishop a3, queen d4, bishop e2. Black has a center, I have the bishop pair. Okay. I'm gonna have to investigate this. I thought black fell for a trap, but this might just be a new opening idea. They're playing very quickly. Opponent was offering a draw, which I'm not going to take. And there's bishop e2 or knight f3. Knight f3 actually looks fine too. Because after takes, yeah, rook comes to the d file. Black can't easily expand the center. Pawns are probably more weak than they are strong. So h6. C4 is definitely an idea, but I think I just want to complete development, castle, put the rook on e1. e5. Yeah, e5 is probably coming. Unless I play c4. Yeah, now might be the time to play c4. Discouraging e5. And generally with center pawn trades, the bishops become happier. I still want a castle. Probably next move. Yeah, it's not easy to win this tournament when not berserking. Leader has 37 points. I've been having more slow-paced games. There was a question earlier, what's one opening that you wish you knew better, but for whatever reason you haven't studied? That's an interesting question. Probably the Scotch. I only recently started studying the Scotch very seriously. And it's a whole world of different types of positions. I played it in a few games in my recent tournaments. And there's a very expansive chess mood course on the different Scotch lines that, especially if I play a serious tournament in the near future, I'd probably just binge. But there's also openings that I've never played and really don't have any knowledge about that I'd like to learn at some point, even just for Blitz. Banco Gambit. Banco would be high up there. If you had to play one opening for the rest of your life, what would it be? Probably London. I've been playing London for about 10 years now, and I haven't gotten sick of it. I'm constantly learning new things about the London, including from this game. This opening trap, which I feel like it's still kind of a trap. Like, it should be preferable for white. We see knight b6. I'll just take. Black's going to be left with an isolated e-pawn or d-pawn. Yeah, bishop d7. Like, I want to play bishop d3, but this move's kind of annoying. I don't really want to take and concede my bishop pair, but like, how do I meet bishop g4? Because I can't play bishop e2. I might have to take. I guess I could play this maybe. Yeah, this is maybe slightly preferable. Because after takes, I am threatening the fork. Rook's tied down to the pawn. I see the comment from Sir Peanut X. Longtime fan, but first time on the live stream. Welcome to the show. You notice the ambulance emoji. Yeah, this is from the phrase "call an ambulance," but not for me. Sometimes a situation that happens in various chess positions. I'm probably not much better here. Black's kind of diffused most of my positional advantage. I could take and play rook d3, but then knight e5. But maybe that's the way to go. Knight e5, rook g3. I'm not thrilled with this. Bishop's out of play. If it takes, I take with rook. The thing is, black might just leave the knight here, and then these are tied down to each other. Maybe I could play rook b1. h3 also has some merit. Hmm. Kind of leaning towards h3 just to be flexible. Making some Luft. Probably not the best move, but it's a safe move. I'm thinking rook b1. Feels slow. And the point is I'm over defending b2 to mobilize the bishop. Opponent offers another draw. Let me think about it for about 4.5 minutes. And over the board chess, it's not proper to offer a draw on your turn. Online chess, I guess it's possible. I mean, there's still a lot of life in this position.
When do you get back to St. Louis? And are you gonna go watch the Sinquefield Cup?
The Cinquefield. I'm not sure if in-person spectators are allowed. I am back though. I might stop by. Be cool to see the players in real life. Make sure they actually exist and they're not AI generated. In previous years, it was possible to like watch the games live. Like they had live spectators. But the chess club is undergoing renovations, so it might be closed off. Oh dear, there's rook f8. Actually, rook f8, bishop g3. It should still be fine. Is this possible? No. Takes rook f8, king g3. And black definitely has some Initiative. I'm trying to hold my ground. B3's on top, this pawn's hanging, this pawn's not defended. There is some pleasing symmetry here in the center. Oh, Lanier's son was allowed in the playing room. Oh, I missed it. Oh, was that during the rapid blitz? So black saves the pawn. Probably time for b3. And then finally the rook can maybe find a better life. Oh, thank you, Gutch. So many fives, who says, I like your calm and non-aggressive style. What about my calm and aggressive style? That was more of the previous stream I did today. Ooh, 92. So I'm expecting knight takes g3. And then the other knight, whichever knight I take, the other knight comes to e4. So, what to do? Probably take on d2. C3 is an issue, though. Huh, I'm not actually sure. And maybe take and then rook f3? Hmm. I'm going to take with this rook. So I'm envisioning the rooks shifting over. And even if knight c3, what to do? Rook d3. You have a3. Also have knight c6. Knight c6 actually looks fine. Hitting a5. Some idea of knight e7. If black's not careful. Definitely the closest game so far today. At least in this tournament. Everything's defended. This rook is really an anchor for the position. Rook e2, but then rook d2. So let's take. Yeah, it's looking good. Time is fine. Knight can return towards the center. Now b4 is undefended. I guess black wants to play rook e1. But let's just take another pawn. Now I'm attacking the knight. And this pawn and defending this. Okay, so everything is basically crumbling for black. F3 is fine. I'll play this move. Just centralizing the knight. If rook d1, then I play f3. Now I might as well push my pawn. Pass b pawn. I could play this move if I want. But maybe I do want. Kind of shutting in the rook. B7. Yeah, that pawn just sprinted down the board. Okay. Pretty smooth game. Like, we got this sort of weird opening imbalance. I've probably had this position before. I should check my my book. I've had this position twice now. I guess this is the third time on Lichess. Yeah, Engine really likes it for whites. But in the moment, I didn't think it was so simple. Engine says bishop e5. Saving d4, giving b2. Wow, rook b1 sacking a2. Okay. I could see how this is like really good for white. King is very exposed and queen's out of play. So yeah, this probably wasn't like deep opening prep by my opponent. And the position I got in the game also is like very comfortable for white. And they did fight back though. We can see the engine graph. Like, I was better out of the opening, but then maybe misplayed. It was equal, especially around here. But once I won the pawn and then the other pawns, it just got really good for white. So 55 minutes. Playing QP numbers. Okay, we have an English. There was a request earlier for a very specific line in the QGD, which we're not going to get after b3, move 2. But playing something that resembles a Queen's Gambit declined. Already wondering about Queen f6 here. Is it playable? d5, bishop e4? I mean, taking is obviously the main move. Queen f6, d4, bishop e4, bishop d2 I take. That's kind of interesting. I'm just going to take, though. Oh, thank you, Gooch, the prime sub. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, let me try not to move too slowly. Yeah, we might get some reverse London type thing. I'll put the bishop here, because slightly preferable. Probably put the bishop on d6. Yeah, this is very reminiscent of some like reverse London. Usually the bishop would be here. I might end up dropping back. It's solid for white, but also for black. I think a5 is very typical. I'll start with rook e8. Probably a bit more useful than a5. h6. There's cases where the bishop will drop back to h7. Yeah, it's kind of a concession, I guess, but I don't think the bishop actually serves a purpose now on g4. This might be a key game. Point away from 2700. Queen c2. e4 is definitely an idea. Let me try queen b8. Creating some pressure. But now what? I might just slow play, like bishop g6. Rook e7. Maybe queen f8 and rook a e8. Okay, h3. Honestly, I'm kind of playing without a plan here. Thinking my queen should go back to d8. No longer serves a purpose on b8. Help support the knight. Maybe maneuver to b6. Yeah, it's one of these positions that's like, it's really solid for both sides, and neither of us really want to be the first one to make a dramatic change. I'm just going to move back. I really have not accomplished much. I moved my queen back and forth and rook back and forth. Last few moves. White's doing something with the knights. I could play knight c5 now. And just tickle the d3 pawn. Now maybe there's a plan of queen b6 and target the b3 pawn. White would have queen a2. We might see rook d1, queen a2. Life goes on. Rook c3, that seems a bit awkward. I don't think I can really punish it. There's this plan of this and knight f5. I'm playing bishop f8. It does look passive. There's a plan behind it to put the knight here. And one nice thing, I don't really have to worry about g7 being an issue because the bishop defends g7. Although maybe I have to worry about my bishop being overworked. The plan is to maybe someday play this and target d3. Okay, that's a sign that b4 might be coming. I could play queen b6 here. A very positional game. b4 allows knight a4. Honestly, now I think my bishop is better back on d6. A lot of moving back and forth. And now it might be better back on f8. Okay. I'm not going to take a draw. But we might repeat position a couple times. I'm trying to like scan for my other resources. Lady 6, I guess, is a resource. Like most moves seem to hurt me rather than help me, like a4, b4. Doesn't look great. Kingside is really hard to attack, or I mean, white really has no weaknesses. White goes for this. I think I have to play this. I guess knight f5 does add another attacker. And the rook is still obstructing the battery. If knight f5, I might just play knight e6. Add another defender. Yeah, it's a long streaming day. I streamed twice yesterday, twice today. Trying to make up for all the times I didn't stream last few months. Yeah, this is actually interesting. 96. Looks like it should be fine. I didn't calculate everything, but well, maybe I should have. Does this work? Takes. This might work. Ay. I think I blundered. I should have calculated more than what I did. Oh dear. Unless there's a weird idea to play king h8, allow takes on f7, then move back. If white moves back, then I take. Okay, we can analyze after the game. Now I should be fine, I think, hopefully. Because now takes, I take with a rook. I was more scared of lines where I had to take with pawn, and then there's rook c6 threatening mate. Yeah, this will definitely require some post-game analysis. I feel like there's something in my throat. Might be from like so much talking, but I might have to take a small break after this game. Knight d4. Lifting over seems a little bit artificial. Moving back is more normal. Did I eat too many pawns? Only consume one pawn this game. Okay, moving back with my knight. Like, things almost got really tactical and sharp, but now they're back to very positional, strategic. But I'm doing well on time. Like, sometimes games like this, time is a much more important factor. Because when things do get tricky, the opponent might not have enough time to navigate through the chaos. Now I'm back to a phase where I just want to improve my pieces. Probably rook e7, double rooks. Like very slight improvements. I'll start with this. Bishop h5 idea. Bishop h5, bishop e2. Yeah, white's also been playing like super patiently. And probably should have like pounced when they could have. It's not a bad style, like to get to a high rating, like waiting for the opponent to blunder. Queen a2. Okay, there is an idea to take. It's actually slightly annoying because if I move the knight, the queen returns. I have f6. Okay, let's see what white is up to. I mean, the practical move is probably just play queen b2 quickly and then make me think. I think I repeat once and then somewhere deviate. Okay, bishop d4, that's a move. My queen has moved back and forth so many times this game. I have to move to f8. b4 might be coming. I'll put the rook back so the battery is unobstructed. Rooks are connected. Knight c5. Discouraging b4 because then I have knight a4. Pressuring d3. My heart rate going wild. It's past 70. 96 now. Yeah, very intense position. Opponent probably wants to repeat at this point. And this is actually a move now. Or is it d4? What about this move? Knight g5. Okay, I'll go for knight g5. I'm trying to create some more imbalance. We trade knights, I get a pawn to g5. I'm dreaming of creating the battery and checkmating. I'm thinking a4 now. And at b5, I play c5. A queen here is met with g3. Am I accomplishing anything there? Bishop h5. I have to watch my time. I have some idea. Let's start with this. Actually, let's start with this. b5, I want to be able to respond with c5. f6, I guess, makes sense. Good move. Okay. Turning into bullets. Yeah, white should be better here. But time is telling the story. Hmm. Ooh, that was a mistake. I have to be really careful. Oh no. Really blundered there. No! I lost on time. Oh, my heart rate. Oh no. Oh no, my rating. Ah. Oh no. Good game. Opponent was fast in the end. I let my guard down. And then this position was really bad. Taking was probably a very bad practical decision. Should have just kept the position closed. Okay, do I end it there? Do I rage quit? It hurts to talk. It feels like kind of painful. It also feels painful to lose such a game. Let's see. The position, okay. Engine slightly prefers black. I just didn't see what to do. Definitely like a game to learn from. Like what to do in the middle game. Engine says knight h7. Knight c5 is fine. Oh, so this moment. Yeah, this is my opponent took time too. So this actually works apparently. Takes. If I take back, then takes. If I take back, then takes. It's a cool sequence. Threatening mate and threatening the queen. So I think I maybe would have played king h8. King h8's playable. But if I go into this, bishop a3 is hard to find. It's not on my radar. And taking, of course, yeah, it's just losing for black. What does the graph look like? This is the engine graph. So, yeah, not a perfect game by any means. Curious about move 33. Move 33. My opponent played e4. Aha. Hey, thank you, Mr. Patu. Happy 3 years. I guess we briefly saw the evaluation from the engine. I wasn't super scared of e4. I guess it's interesting because if I take, my bishop's hit, the knight's pinned. The engine does find a move the bishop f4, either now or maybe takes first. But I think this looks pretty good for black. The rook is hit, and then I'll take, and bishop's no longer a target. I can take here. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I've had a lot of chess today. Give my voice a rest. Good game to my opponent. I hope people took away some lessons from these games.